Hi, my name is Jared Melton. I'm a Earth Sciences major at Orange Coast Community, and I hope to transfer to UC Irvine. My career goal is to become a science teacher eventually, and I have taken American Indian Studies course at Pima Community College last year. Concepts chose from my paper were structural racism and historical oppression. Structural racism is racism embedded in laws, policies, and institutions that result in unequal opportunities and outcomes for marginalized groups. Historical oppression examines how colonization, slavery, and segregation have long-lasting effects on marginalized communities. Um, Throughout history, societies have been shaped by systems of power that often privilege certain groups while marginalizing others. Two critical concepts that illuminate these dynamics are historical oppression and structural racism. Examining these concepts can show us how they influence our culture and show why addressing them is essential for creating a more equitable society. Historical oppression refers to systemic mistreatment or exploitation of groups based on their race, ethnicity, or identity. These injustices are rooted into the historical foundations of our society and are perpetuated through laws, policies, and cultural norms. Examples of this historical injustice include slave catchers in the United States being the basis for our police force, and the forced assimilation of indigenous peoples, and the ensuing boarding schools that aim to erase their heritage. This kind of oppression is not confined to the past, and the repercussions manifest generations later in the form of economic equality, reduced access to opportunities, and cultural erasure. Understanding historical oppression is crucial because it highlights the origins of our current disparities and provides a way to begin to address them. On the other hand, unlike individual acts of prejudice, structural racism is embedded in the policies, institutions, and cultural practices of a society, and it ensures that racial disparities will continue to exist over time, often without explicit intent to discriminate. Structural racism includes things like redlining, which segregated housing and wealth, racial profiling by law enforcement, and inequalities in education funding that disproportionately affect marginalized communities. Structural racism itself thrives on how impersonal it is, its bureaucratic nature making it difficult to identify and dismantle. Um, sorry. The institution it operates through, it outwardly appear neutral but result in unequal income for marginalized groups. This concept is critical to explain how racial inequalities endure even in societies that made strides towards civil rights and equality. As far as why I chose these concepts, there are many reasons to explore the ideas of historical oppression and structural racism and how they're connected. They're highly relevant in today's world where racial disparities are prominently discussed on the news and in public discourse. Ongoing debates on criminal justice reform and movements like Black Lives Matter only underscore the urgent need to address these issues. There is also a personal and professional connection to these concepts for individuals in fields such as education. As someone who's working towards being a science teacher and understanding how historical oppression and structural racism shapes student lives is crucial for that position. Many students from marginalized backgrounds may face challenges rooted in these systems, and educators have the opportunity to provide support they may not receive otherwise. And finally, these concepts are valuable educational tools. By studying them, we can trace how past injustices inform present conditions and work to create fairer systems. And awareness of these systems equips people to advocate for equality and foster a deeper understanding of social dynamics. These concepts have had a personal effect on my college journey. I read A Mighty Long Way by Carlotta Walls Lanier in about 2013. It made me aware of historical injustices inherent in our society and how it led to structural racism in our institutions. I began to expand my knowledge over the years, and I've become much more aware of the historical ramifications of racism and the tendency we have to forget about the atrocities of our past. Um, Just an example, many people were unaware of the Tulsa Massacre until it was used in the television show The Watchmen as a plot point. Um, I'm now in school to become a science teacher, and I believe examining my classes through the lens of historical and structural racism can provide a nuanced insight into the topics, especially in the sciences, where the findings of papers can have implicit biases that their authors may not even be aware of. In medicine, much of the information we have on the human body is based solely on the white male body and doesn't take gender or race into account. Um, in the future, when I graduate and begin teaching as a profession, I hope to be the kind of teacher I needed as a child by supporting my students and helping them give them the tools to succeed. Being aware of historical oppression and structural racism, as well as the other concepts discussed in this class, like othering and intersectionality, I believe will make me better equipped to be a more empathetic and effective teacher and human being. Thank you.